Hi, I'm Craig Phillips, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build your own chair using recycled pallet wood. And the tools you're going to require: a chop saw or a hand saw, drills, screws, tape measure, clamp, set square and an orbital sander. Now once you've decided the size of your chair, you can start to build one section of the frame. So I'm going to place that to one side and start to cut myself a kit of parts. Starting off with the longest length at 900. I'm going to cut this square to start with and then kind of create a triangle end on them to finish the top section off. We can adjust the chop saw to cut them at 45-degree angles. If you haven't got a chop saw, of course, you can achieve that on your normal hand saw as well. Turn that over, same again. Okay, so one side's a little bit higher than the other, because as we come up later on with the lats, one of them meets and the other one sits on top of them like this. The next stage is we want to come across 480 millimeters. So we'll take one of these. I'm going to cross it over onto the back leg at the moment. I'm going to measure across there at 480, which is here. Okay, so this piece is going to be here. And of course, we want it 480 for the height, which is this section here. So now by placing them three pieces of wood, we can start to see the shape that we've got. We've got the back, we've got the seated area, and then the height of what the seat sits at. Because this is only one piece of timber, this is not going to be strong enough to make a frame up like this. We want to double it up and sandwich these together. So the next stage is we want to cut a piece of timber from here to here, and also another one from here to here, and from there to there. Okay, so that now is a double layer of the frame that we want to achieve on there. All we have to do now is glue it and screw it all together. In position, let's place back down on top, lining up the peaks, squaring them back up again. Put 4 screws in that side. These are all about 40mm screws, because the timber itself is about 20-22 millimeters thick. And it's going right through the first piece and gripping into the one below. Again, just double checking you're keeping it square at all times before you drive the screws in. Okay, so that is one more side of it complete. Now, if my measurements serve correctly, we should marry up on top of them, nice and square, perfect. So now what we've got is the two side sections of the chair built up. All we need to do now is cut more pallet slats to bridge across between them to make the seat. Now the width of your chair is for you to decide on, but I've chosen to go 440 millimeters. I've cut a selection of timbers that are going to be fixed across one side of the frame to the other. Now working on your own can be a little bit tricky, so what I've done is screwed a couple of blocks into the workbench here and then screwed the bottom of the frame in there, and that just holds them upright for me. As always, we put plenty of glue on any sort of furniture that's taking anybody's weight. And then we start to fix our slats across. The first one I'm going to apply flush to the very edge of it here. A couple of pilot holes to stop the wood from splitting. And again, I'm driving 50mm nails in nice and deep. There you go. That's that one. Before I put that second one in, I'm going to do the opposite side here and just make sure that I'm getting it nice and square. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's nice and square. Perfect. The next lot, I'm just going to place down for now before I actually screw them, because I want to create a little small gap in between each of the seat slats. And of course, if you've screwed them down, you've committed to them then, so we'll just place them. Yep, that's working quite well. A couple of millimeters gap. And once you're happy with that, then you can start to fix all of them down. Now I've just put one screw in each timber there for the moment. I am going to put two on it, but I'm going to do the opposite side now before I continue fixing that side down. Again, just double checking that you've got the same size gaps between them, and then you can get a fixing in the opposite side. Okay, so that's the base, the seated area of the chair now complete. What I'm going to work on now is cutting the more slats the same size and working it up across the back. So this is the back slat now, which should be fixed on the back here. Now again, we want to create small little gaps in between them, but what I have done is cut little chocks that I'm going to slide underneath. Because we're working upwards, you've got a tendency of slipping down. These are about 10mm, so I'm putting 4 long here. 10mm in between each one of them will just about take me up to the top. But before I do, I'm going to drill all the clearance holes with the pilot drill bit. Again, plenty of glue. Oops. Making sure again it's flush to both sides. If you're happy with that, you can start to screw him down. We will put 2 in these, but I'm just going to continue getting the rest in place to double check that they all fit before we put the second screw in each side. Looking well, and then you can commit with your second screw in then. Okay, Okay, so that's more or less the back complete, except I've cut 2 further slats, again 440 millimeters. And remember earlier on we cut these on a bit of a peak, so I'm going to place my chock back underneath that top one. I'm going to glue and screw that one into position, and then also a further one on the back. It all helps with the structure and the strength of the chair, but it just finishes off that little peak for us. And then when we sand this down later, we can take off any harsh edges there as well with the sander. Drill some pilot holes. Right, plenty of glue. Chunks. Will do to make it a bit easier, because it's a bit tall there now, and I'm not the tallest of people, so I'm going to start my screws off halfway through the wood. This way it makes it a little bit easier. There we go. Always double checking, flush both sides together, and then we can commit in the screw there to hold it, and then the one on the back, of course you don't need to put any packs in there, just a little bit of glue. So that's now the back and the seat all fixed into position. The next stage is to reinforce the bottom of the legs. Now, bracing the legs is very important, because if there's any weight on here, what you don't want is the legs to force out or to force in there. So of course you can just fix battens to the front of them and screw them in. That'll be strong, but aesthetically it doesn't look that good. So what I'm going to do is mitre my joints at 45 degrees, so when they go together there's a nice snug and strong joint. And we do this by taking our measurements across, getting our set square, drawing on it 45 degrees there, 90 up that way, turn it over, finding the bottom of that mark, and then again 90 on there. Now I'm going to chop these on the chop saw. Of course, if you don't have a chop saw, you can put them in your workbench and cut them with your hand saw. Okay, so that's now our corners all cut, mitered at 90 degrees. They will fit in between there quite well. So we'll start off by fixing this one down. I want to place it in the middle of these two back legs there. I'm going to mark it where I'm going to drill some pilot holes. Place this into position with the screws. Now I'm going to put that probably about 70 or 80 millimeters off the bottom of the leg itself. Okay, so that's one in. Now I'll take my tape measure. I can measure it from the bottom. It's coming up about 150 millimeters, and I'll do the same again on the bottom back of this leg. Now this next piece is now going to be fixed into that mitered area right in there. So again, what we want to do is get plenty of glue behind there and drill a couple of pilot holes to be able to do a fixing from there into this timber. Turn that on its side that way. We drill on a little bit of an angle into here. Sometimes drilling them you have to start off upright and then just turn the drill as you go down on an angle. Plenty of glue on that joint. There he is, nice and tight. Okay. Couple of screws in here. And they're going to shoot in on that angle that we drilled and catch that timber that's already fixed in place. We do exactly the same around all the rest of the 3 legs. Now the 4 main braces are in, holding all 4 legs together. For extra precaution, I'm just going to place another one right in the very centre here. Place that more or less in the very centre. If you're unsure, double check with your measurements. 180, 180, perfect. When he's in position, you can drill some pilot holes from the outside. Drive your screw in to hold it into position. Now that is real solid now. The last thing, just to finish this entire chair off, is a piece right across the front. Now that's the entire structure of your chair built. All you need to do now is sand it down. Unscrew it up and lift it away from your jig. And that's how you make your chair out of recycled pallet wood. And I've got to say, they're extremely comfortable. If you want to see some more video tips on pallet projects, please visit the website silverlinetools.com.